Hey, happy Friday, folks. Here I am. You're going to have to mind the voice right now. I had gotten hit with some allergies. It's that time of the year, every single year at this point, and it didn't really start till about 10 years ago. I get some kind of sinus attack that lasts a few days. I also, for at least a month, have a pain in my left shoulder. I still throw, so try to stay in shape, try to maintain my extraordinary arm that I wasted. But it's Friday. We love Friday. Everybody does. Probably going to be coughing a few times like that. So, excuse me. I'm trying not to do this stream too long, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if anybody jumps on now. And I'm going to do my material. I'm going to pose a question for all of you. Probably going to go along with it anyway, because I received a revelation from an old game. We'll get into that in just a sec. Got a lot I want to cover right now, other than the fact that I sound like absolute feces, and it's beautiful out. Fantastic day here. It's about 60 degrees, sunny. It was a very uneventful week. Didn't have to go anywhere. Don't have to go anywhere now. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch some videos, fall asleep, do my live stream tonight. I'm not going to plan on falling asleep, more or less, but I will do it anyway because I'm old and I live a very boring life, and that's that. But anyway, let's start with what I'm about to really get into with this stream. I do a lot of live streaming now because I just don't have the motivation to go through the editing I used to go through with the videos and everything. But there's so much I do want to say. So I decided to schedule these Friday streams. I do want to get back to doing a lot more with videos and everything. I want to see what I can do with the editing. I don't want to waste $50 on an editing software that I don't use. But we'll see. We'll see what I can do. But I definitely want to get more of a gaming library so I can use my footage and not somebody else's. I just don't, if I'm playing games anyway, I don't like to use other people's footage. So I might get into games that I can't stand, but I want to make a video about them. So we'll see. Mind the kids yelling outside, by the way. But the reason why I did this was because I saw that once again, Nintendo's the best. I'm a big advocate and supporter of the company. I do say always, there really is no reason other than for amateurish or just immature reasons to bash a company or conjure up any sort of issues that a company has to prove your validity as a critic, especially, or just somebody that's an enthusiast. I don't know why this woman is screaming outside, but whatever. It's so lazy to crush something that's so great, has been so great for so many years. Yeah, there are flaws in what Nintendo does. Absolutely. I mean, listen, Nintendo 64 was bad idea. Virtual Boy to have virtual reality in the 90s was forward thinking, but the technology wasn't there. There were things that they've done that didn't sell. The Wii U, which from one of the pictures I've seen from the prospected or projected PlayStation 6, looks like they're copying that with a controller that's got like a sub-screen on it. Gaming industry has been innovated so many different ways by Nintendo, and people steal from it. But the concept of key cards, which still will not go away. Guys, what do you not understand about key cards? You're going to download most of your games anyway. At least with a key card, if it sucks, you can trade it back in. What's the problem? Why is it such an issue that people freak the hell out? I thought the key cards were going to stop you from owning your games. That was proven false. But it's better than just downloading games. Why weren't all of you screaming and yelling as much about the digital-only consoles? Or if you try to get a gaming PC, you'll have to pay extra to have a Blu-ray player there, or you have to install it yourself and pay extra for the player. So you're going to be playing mostly digitized games that you download. Why waste all that space or even just pay for something that you can't get anything back in return? The key card works perfectly. And as I've said, Nintendo has yet to make one. Beria, holy shit, it's been weeks, man. Where the hell have you been? If I had a timeout, I wouldn't give it to you because you're Beria. You don't deserve that. I got to ask you a question. I'm going to get to this, Beria, but I want to ask you a question, and anybody else that's on right now. But no, that's fine. That's fine. You do your thing. Hey, listen, I've been doing a lot myself. I've actually done stuff. I had parties to go to. You would have thought I was in my 20s. An old fart, okay? When I was a kid, dinosaurs roamed the earth. That's how old I am. But the whole thing about bricking consoles, they don't stop you from using the console. You just can't go online when you are utilizing a cartridge they have warned you ahead of time will get you bricked, and they've been doing it since the Wii. Do you understand piracy is a crime? If you do something that has been linked to piracy, why should you be allowed to go online? You can't be trusted anymore. So how are you killing Nintendo? And they're not the only ones that do it. So it's not just so much that people find stupid things to bash Nintendo. It's that Nintendo isn't the source of it. And if there is any kind of price to pay, Nintendo is the cheapest. Now, I've said before with the game share, when it comes to $70 games, I mean, first off, I paid $150 for Civilization 7, and I haven't seen anything that warranted, other than Napoleon, $150 to get that game. Now, I didn't have to, but when you look at that, you look at the $100+ I paid to play Street Fighter 6 with all the characters released. Games cost a lot of money. They're expensive because you have to pay tons of people that make them. This isn't independent crap. This is AAA, front of the line, top of the line gaming that has a lot of technology. You want everybody to look realistic, right? You want all these frames per second. It's not going to come cheap. That's every single company. And one of the things I want to throw in there, because Elden Ring got a price, the Tarnished Edition on the Switch 2 exclusively, got a price, but people are complaining how expensive it is. It comes with DLC that would have cost you $20 anyway. The DLC now by itself costs you $40, actually. So you'd pay over $100 on all these other consoles. I had it. I traded it back in. I'm sorry. I just can't compete online. I can't compete online. I try to compete online, and all these little scrubs either use the new controls, which I can't use because I have no access to all the abilities and stuff. And the one problem with the Pro Controller is it is so sensitive. It is so accurate. So all these games are delayed in their movements, in their input, and you'll be using it in such a way that you would think it would respond. So as much as I paid $40 for the 4 characters, which is ridiculous, but Sagat, beloved Crimson Viper, I didn't get to Alex. I traded him before that, and now Ingrid's coming out, and people are complaining about that too, which is leading me to the main concept here. But yeah, anyway, Tarnished Edition is listed at $80, which is pretty much what I thought it would be, and people are freaking out. Then don't get the fucking game, all right? Don't get the game. I'm getting it. I'm downloading it. I'm not even going to GameStop to pre-order nothing. I'm downloading it. That and Duskbloods. Those 2 games I'm going to have for the rest of my life. And Elden Ring and Duskbloods, that will be a part of something else I want to ask you, Brother Yet, and anybody else watching afterwards, and would love some input. But the concept of all these practices, paying online to play games, Nintendo gives you the most for usually the cheapest. And as I mentioned with Game Share, you can play a Switch 2 game on 3 other Switch 1 consoles, and they don't have to pay anything. So not only are they paying for the extensive graphical processing and all other stuff, but they're paying to give you the opportunity to play on other consoles. So what's the problem? I would say for 1 week, give it up for Lent, but Lent's already passed. Just stop talking shit about Nintendo. For 1 week, try it out. Because it's getting old and people aren't jumping to it anymore. It's just that simple, especially when Nintendo is dominating in every way, especially in Japan. And this is why more companies are trying to produce or reproduce their games for the Switch 2. The Crimson Desert developers try to blame the Switch 2 on why they're not getting the developer kits. I'm like, dude, nobody wants your fucking game, all right? Nobody's even talking about it anymore. Eventually it might. If you can meet up to Nintendo standards, maybe, like Borderlands 4, Borderlands 4 still doesn't have a release date on the Switch 2 because it sucks. It's broken, and they're not buying that. But I still say that there was a creator's voice video that Nintendo popped months ago, almost a year ago, for Gearbox and Borderlands. I doubt they're going to cancel it. That's not what Nintendo does. They're just going to make them work their asses off to get it right. But the real thing that I'm here for is, let me just explain to you about what a fan is. Fan is short for fanatic, which means you're obsessed, you're nuts, you're completely incorrigible when it comes to something, right? So I was always a baseball fan. I wanted to be a baseball player. I had the ability to do it. I was obsessed with the Yankee franchise. I wanted to play for the Yankees. This is what I wanted to do. And I loved my team, my franchise. And I still do. I still love the history. The Steinbrenners can fuck themselves. They have destroyed this franchise. Ever since George bought it and did nothing but screw it up so he could never win but be right there, his sons have followed suit. It's good business. Dipshit wannabe Yankee fans come out constantly. But, sports in general, anything that shows me something that's competitive, because I have to win at everything I do. I was born and raised poor in the United States, so I can't win the game of life. But when it came to anything that I could compete in, I had to win. And anything that's competitive, this is why I play fucking Overwatch still to this day. The game sucks. It's absolute trash. There is nothing competitive in it whatsoever, because of the fact that not only is the matchmaking terrible, not only are the characters not balanced, not only do these kids not know what they're doing, but then it has to play, like all these other online competitive games, the political bullshit of, you won too many in a row. In order to keep it fair, we got to force you to lose too many in a row. And it'll always be more than you won. So whenever you're in a very long winning streak on an online competitive game, if you're not paying for the highest quality PC and you're not hooked up with the company in some way, shape, or form, you're not getting promotions or whatever, and you don't have people supporting you in so many different ways, you better hold your breath, tighten up your asshole, and grab your ankles, because you're going to lose a lot. And sometimes it's going to be you show up, you're dead, and that's it. So anything that is competitive, that has something to win, I love, I thrive more or less, and I have to be the best at it. This is how it works. And the Yankees were the best. Like the Steelers were the best when I gave a shit about football, which was a long time ago. I have no interest in professional sports because these guys aren't professionals. They're not athletes. They're a bunch of rich, spoiled kids who take HGH and steroids, which is one of the reasons why they get hurt way too often and drop dead at about 35 to 45 years old. They have no concept of the game. All they know how to do is in a dumbed-down child's version of the league, because none of these guys even knows how to, on a professional level or even a media level, they don't know how to do the basic things. Pitchers don't know how to pitch. They barely even know how to throw. And the hitters swing like they're playing. They have no idea what they're doing. But it's all this focus on individual stats and accomplishments and achievements. So I'm done with baseball. I haven't given a shit since the best player of his time, Derek Jeter, whether you want to admit that or not, because you don't know what really great players are. When he retired, it was more or less just done really around 2000, when the United States, which was always debauched and disgusting anyway, when the United States, the people and the society kind of devolved like everyone thought computers would after Y2K. Computers had no problem. The human beings here did. And everything went in reverse. From that point on, sports became completely non-competitive. Baseball pitching died. Ballparks were too small. Mounds were too low. Everything was about offense, offense, offense. That's not baseball. If you want to go even further, basketball, because everyone was obsessed, or at least David Stern was, the wannabe mafioso kingpin himself, God rest his soul in heavenly peace, was obsessed with not losing the superstar fabrication of Jordan, and thus they sold their soul to LeBron James, who was never any good. Okay? The concept that the guy just forgot how to dribble in the last 5-10 years and forgot how to play defense, just forgot how to play the game. No, that's the player he always was. Because for whatever reason, I don't know who his mother was sleeping with, this guy was able to have either the NFL or the NBA handed to him. He chose the NBA because he's a giant pussy that didn't want to get hit. So basketball dumbed itself down, made everyone small and short to ensure he can just kind of drive over everybody and put up a bunch of bullshit stats on stacked teams that couldn't win anyway. I don't care if it's 2007, LeBron, whatever. So the NBA died a long time ago. And the NFL, when Eli Manning, who had no talent and couldn't even throw a spiral, is given 2 Super Bowls, there's a problem with your league. It's a problem. But one of the reasons why I have difficulty, and this is when you can say, well, aren't you sort of practicing when you're preaching against? Because you talk about how you're a Yankee fan, but then all you do is complain about the Yankees. The reason is because the Yankees, like the Steelers, had a history. They were the gold standard. You have to tell me how the Steelers can win and lose graciously, even in this day and age, and not get involved in any controversy, and the Yankees can't figure this one out. Whether it's the captain sending out tweets of guys styling for their home runs, which is not Yankee baseball, or it's just them choking on a consistent basis, losing games against the worst teams, the worst situations, whatever it is, they are an embarrassment. So as much as I love my Yankees, I'm not a fan like I used to be. I despise this group of people. So why do I explain all this? Well, because recently, Game Freak terrorizes, who they are the creators of Pokemon. Nintendo owns the games, but Game Freak makes them. Okay, we know this, right? Recently, they released a game called Pokemon Champions. Now, I want you to remember, Fanatic, you're a huge fan. Okay? Pokemon is not the Yankees. Pokemon is still Pokemon. It's just evolving, right? You have more random access memory. You have more bigger hard drives, better hardware. You're not playing on the Game Boy or even the 2DS. You're playing on a home console in the Switch 2. So there's more room to grow as a gaming series. And they've added traveling on monsters' backs and interacting with the environments and everything. They've done so many things to make Pokemon kind of more conventional as opposed to historic. Every game does this. It's not deviating that much. You have to evolve in the video game industry if you want to stay relevant. And Pokemon's one of the biggest series out there, right? So their release of Pokemon Champions, once more, from so-called fans, is getting torn to shreds. Now, I just want you to understand, it is free to play. You can download it right now on the Switch 1, Switch 2. They say the Switch 2 is having issues. It's a free-to-play game. There will be consistent updates. It's a service. This is what free-to-play games are. People have complained about what it looks like. People have said that it's a disaster already. People have just bashed this thing to be dead. I've been watching somebody playing it, and I'm not a Pokemon enthusiast, fan, nothing. But it looks like a Pokemon game. And to say that it's ugly or whatever, just a couple of the women I've seen alone, and I have to watch what I say because you never know with Pokemon. Everyone remembers Legend Z3, another Pokemon game that got crushed because it was trying to be Dark Souls for some reason. Roll dodging is trying to be Dark Souls, whatever. Because there was never a roll dodge. Ever play Ocarina of Time? Maybe it's trying to be Ocarina of Time. But whatever the case, Legend Z3 had the detective chick in the bodysuit that was so tight you can see pretty much everything. She turned out to be 16. That's okay in most countries, not in the United States, which isn't a country, but whatever. And it's hilarious that the United States tries to take the holier-than-thou route and claim itself on the hillside of righteousness against everybody else, especially since this is the most disgusting fucking society on the planet. When you look, forget the Epstein reports because that's not even scratching the surface. When you look at what Hollywood does, what TV does, what they do in the United States, aside from making convoluted crap that doesn't have any real story or whatever, everything is about cheating, sexual deviation. It's just disgusting. The society is disgusting. I've always said the United States has never invented anything other than new levels of debauchery. So making it seem as if, yeah, well, you can't be with anybody unless they're 18. Oh, that's fantastic. You're still scumbags here. It's just the way it is. And that is more negative U.S. talk from my friend Scott from Suplex Music. But whatever the case, we got to watch what we say. There is a young woman who's translated on the United States or English version to sound as if she's from the U.S. South, the southern United States, and she's got a tattoo on her arm. So to me, it's like Japan saying, yeah, these are the skanks that you have to deal with. But whatever the case, it looks fine. It's a Pokemon game. It's free to play. What's the fucking problem, right? You got that. You got Go. You got Unite. These three games, the only ones that I'm sure there are more free to play Pokemon games, but those are the three that I know of. So you call yourself fans, and since what? Black and White, you have not liked one Pokemon game. You keep complaining about voiceover work. Guys, it ain't happening, all right? It's not going to happen in wins and waves. I'd be surprised if it does. Now, if you go to other Nintendo series, Breath of the Wild was the first one that had legitimate voiceover acting. Zelda. Zelda's been around since the 80s, mid-80s. Breath of the Wild got a whole lot of interest because of the fact that it voiced over in certain scenes, cutscenes that we had, right? It took 40 years almost to have Zelda have voiceover. Now, you can't count the noises that everybody makes. That doesn't count because Pokemon make noises too. So that doesn't count. Fire Emblem, it took until Awakening to get voiceover work, and that was only in cutscenes. Mario, it took until Wonder to have the flowers talk. And people complain about the flowers talking. What else is there? Punch Out, only when you're ringside, more or less. Or between when they knock, not even when they knock you down. But whatever the case, that's mostly voiced over, but there's just not much opportunity for it. Release a new Punch Out. Donkey Kong. I mean, I could go on and on and on, right? So going nuts about Pokemon not having voiceover work, going nuts about Pokemon changing the formula when it hasn't changed the formula, the combat system is still the same. How do you call yourselves fans when you don't like the series? How do you call yourselves fans when you want to keep living vicariously through your past? That's not a fan. You know what that is? That's a child. You remember when you were a kid and it thrilled the shit out of you. And you want to be thrilled like that again. But you're never going to because you're not a child anymore. I know so many of you online influencer geeks just want to be Peter Pan and never grow up, but you're aging. It happens. And you know what else happens? Things you liked before, you lose patience for. It's just that simple. I thought that Knights of the Old Republic was phenomenal. Then I played Elder Scrolls and said, wow, I have control over the damage that I do and take. That's incredible. I have more combat options. That's nice. I have more customization of my character. That's nice. And then a game that was random dice roll tosses, I just couldn't get into, especially since how bad they destroyed George Lucas's work. Because I'll say it 1,000 more times. Star Wars is George Lucas. That's it. I don't give a shit who owns it. I don't care about what video games were made, under what name. Doesn't matter to me. If George Lucas didn't write it, it's not officially Star Wars. Okay? It's his work. I don't care about your comics. I don't care about your Shadows of the Republic. I don't care. Did George Lucas write it? No, it's not Star Wars. Just in case you're wondering. Star Wars is 6 movies and a Clone Wars CGI series and a Christmas special that more or less revolves around Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, and his children. That's what it is. All this other superfluous shit is superfluous shit. And the Knights of the Old Republic took that universe and absolutely raped it, destroyed it completely. So knowing that and trying to play those games again, and I still have them because I downloaded them and I'm stuck with them forever because they don't have key cards. But knowing that, I tried playing them again. It was a very brutal experience. So I thought Elder Scrolls was the best. Then I played Mass Effect. Mass Effect, my character had a voice. I could shoot things, aim, all that stuff, and it was great until they killed Shepard and destroyed the story. But on top of that, until I found Fire Emblem. Until I found Shin Megami Tensei. And so on and so forth. You become more experienced in a specific genre and you discover new things. Pokemon is very easy. It's a little bit more mentally challenging than a Square Enix turn-based game that's not Dragon Quest. Final Fantasy, we'll just say that. Well, no, they have other RPGs that were like Chrono Trigger. Somebody tried to say Chrono Trigger was a perfect game. No, not even close. There is more strategy involved, but it's a dumbed-down Shin Megami Tensei, or if you want to go further, a dumbed-down Dragon Quest Monsters. Not sure which one came out first myself. I'm pretty sure it was Digital Devil. Sorry, but whatever. I could be wrong. Even so, Pokemon is what it is. You throw a monster at somebody, they throw one back, you fight. That's what Pokemon Champions is. It's the same thing, just free to play, and you don't have to have two of them. So, what's the fucking problem? Free to play. There's a free to play Fire Emblem game. I can't play it. You know why? Because my phone can't install it and update it. But I would definitely play Fire Emblem Heroes. I've tried it. It was fun because I love Fire Emblem. If you love Pokemon so much, why are you bitching about it? You got it for free. Am I defending the corporate? No. I'm questioning your mentality. Because it's just so ridiculous to me, like people who are Silent Hill fans. You only like 2. That's it. You don't bring up 1. You barely touch on 3. And there's not one other Silent Hill game ever released that you even remotely consider. So you can't be a fan of a series when you like 1. And by the way, in case you're keeping score, Silent Hill 2 sucks. Whether it's the original version or whatever, it sucks. It's ugly, it's boring, it's slow, its storyline is fucking asinine. Everything about it is dog shit. Okay? Konami only has 2 good series. 3 if you count Gradius, Contra, and Castlevania. That's it. That's all they have. Metal Gear Solid can suck a dick, as can Silent Hill. So stop trying to act like you're geniuses when it comes to the genre of video games, the niche enjoyment, when all the video games you like are slow, ugly, boring, wannabe movies. Because that is not what video games are. And coming from privileged, rich PC types who get the editor's version of every game, then modify it to be damned, messing with the difficulty and everything to look like they're so great at gaming and everything like that. So you have to go to them. When I play the same games they play on Switch 1, Switch 2, and it ain't anywhere near as easy as they have it, listening to them tell me what's a good game, and I didn't want to hear it. There was a Facebook list of the top 10 games of all time. Red Dead Redemption 2 was one. I'm like, what? Somebody said, how you can tell the world you're a 15-year-old without saying you're a 15-year-old. It was like the 2 God of Wars were on there. I'm pretty sure Last of Us was there. Not one Nintendo game. I'm going, if you want to talk about the greatest video games of all time, you start with Super Metroid, you go into Twilight Princess, and then you move on from there. But if you think storyline is just a bunch of Academy Award-winning performances in a boring-ass non-game, you are an idiot. And this is why your AAA gaming industry is going to hell. Because you put too much emphasis on this crap. And when Nintendo came back with the Switch 1 and became more popular, people started seeing, hey, so this is what video gaming is supposed to be. And now people are moving away from you. You're the kid that smells that everyone thought was cool, sitting on the bus. Now people realize, boy, your body odor is repulsive, and they're moving away from you. That's what your movie games are. Okay? So when it comes to the opinions of the people, now let me say that again, opinions, which, yes, on a test in school, your opinions may never be right or wrong. But when you act as if your opinions are the most influential and important aspects of what people can listen to and adhere to on the internet, your opinions must be stated for the responsibility of what you do in your popular influence, that it is just your opinion. To state that Pokemon Champions is a disaster when it's a free-to-play Pokemon game that most Pokemon fans would be more than happy to play, that's not only pushing it, this is wrong. And it's not broken, and it's not ugly. It's colorful. It's a Pokemon game like every other one, just free to play and a little bit more individualistic. Because, well, pretty much every Pokemon game is just you against everybody else, but this one, it's like online competitive. So I just find it hilarious how people can make a big deal about that. Like I said, with Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, which still doesn't have a release date from what I can tell, but with the price being $80 and people freaking out, dude, it's like a discount. If you wanted to get the base game with the DLC, it would cost you way more than that. Now, we're not going to get the Veilguard. Well, not Veilguard. That's the Dragon Age. The whatever the hell thing is called. We're not going to get the other one, the one that's pretty much like the precursor to Dustbloods. But what is it again? 1 second. I'll look it up. Let's see. Elden Ring DLC. Night Rain. That's the one. Had nothing to do with Veil and Night Rain. And do we have a release date here? Damn it, bitch. Still no release date. Fuck. Anyway. So, no release date, but we have a price, $80. I'm happy to pay it. I can say now that it's coming out on a Nintendo console that I'm looking forward to it. It looks like there's a lot more combat options than was in Dark Souls. And because it's open world, more or less, you could pretty much jack your character up to be damned before you get into the nitty-gritty. So I'm interested. I want to see, and this is where the question I'm going to pose to everybody. I want to see if using the same stats and strategies that everybody else on PC has been using, if I can dodge as much as they, because I played Dark Souls 20 times. I played Dark Souls 2 like 15 times, Dark Souls 3 like 15 times. I played Bloodborne like 15 times. Those 4 games I played the asshole out of. So I know all about From Software games and everything. Now, I never played Sekiro. I've said this before. I'm about to play Elden Ring whenever it wants to come out on the Switch too. And I'm going to, of course, play Dustbloods. Never played Demon Souls. I stick with the Miyazaki ones. Nobody else is from Software. So we're going to see how this all works. But you're making a big deal about shit again, guys. The internet is just reactionary. And right now, because it still hasn't gone away, the anti-Nintendo BS, it's just, if Nintendo does anything, if Nintendo has a successful movie, they got to bash it. Nintendo has a successful console, they got to bash it. Nintendo has a cheap version of a game, they got to bash it. Even with the DLC and everything come included, and new classes and stuff exclusive to the Switch too, by the way, got to be bashed. I just find it hilarious. But the Pokemon Champions thing, I'm just, guys, seriously, it's a free-to-play game. Give it some time. My God. Just 1 week. Try 1 week. Can't say anything negative about Nintendo for 1 week because it's lazy now. You know, it's just lazy. So anyway, I am thinking of making a 4th official channel. I have 3 right now. I have this one, my gaming channel, and my Civilization channel. The reason why I have the Civilization channel separate is because I already have like 10,000 videos on my gaming channel. Things are getting lost on it. I want to just focus on new games and Let's Plays. So I was thinking of another one where I downloaded Fallout 4 and Skyrim. It came in a package. So I started playing Skyrim. I posted on my gaming channel. I just want to know, should I make another channel of just me jerking around with that, Elden Ring, whatever I'm putting in? Because I'm trying so desperately to get off the drug hit that I have called fucking Overwatch because I can't stand that game. I despise that game and I want to just get away from it. I know I've unlocked a lot of things and I paid $40 and I get every new character and everything. I don't know if I could just get rid of it completely, but man, I don't want it. I put way too much time into that game. Way too much time. I actually wanted to start this earlier, but I was too busy playing that stupid ass game. So I was thinking of, like I was saying, because going back into Skyrim, it might not be the prettiest, but it is a fun game, man. I forgot how good it was. I played it a couple of times, a few times, several times, and I forgot how fun it was. The DLC I played only a couple of times. I don't think I've played all the DLC, and we've got new skins and stuff. I want to get the Hylian shield and the Heroes tuning. I want to get those things. So hey, if you want to see me do that, let me know in the comments. I'll make another channel, get it all set up, ready to go for all of you. Right now, as you can hear, I haven't slept in days, which I have. I had really good sleep today, so I'm going to go rest my voice. I got to do my live stream tonight. I feel fine. Feel a lot better than I have in the last few days, but I sound terrible. So I'm going to get out of here. Be back on next week. I will hopefully have something new, release date, something. Pragmata is coming out next week. I'll do that. Get that started for all of you. I'll see you then.